Hello, my name is Mia Matreyek, and I'm an animator, designer, and performer. I make live performances that combine animation with a performer in shadow who steps behind the screen. My work often deals with the complex intersection of humans and nature. My latest piece, Infinitely Yours, is about the climate crisis and tries to illustrate the many ways that we humans have affected the Earth. The piece was inspired by news items about climate change that I had been cataloging over the last 4 to 5 years. These turn into nightmarish moments of wildfires, floods, sea level rise, pollution, and more. Through the piece, I was processing my own climate anxiety and climate grief and trying to find a way to express and share these with audiences, with the hope that the work leads to conversations about how we are feeling in this present moment where the crisis feels undeniable. A lot of the footage that I used in my piece came from my life. The trash floating in the ocean in this scene are all trash pieces I picked out of my own recycling bin. I shot footage of them in loops and animated them along with the movement of the water. Many of the scenes in this piece weave together photos and videos I've shot over the last many years of my life, like an oil field that I saw once on a road trip through California, the LA River, my own dining room, and more. I've been working with shadows for over 14 years now, and I still find this medium fascinating. Shadows are ordinary yet mysterious, flat yet dimensional, alive but cinematic, and full of transformation, illusion, and play on perception. Storytelling with shadow can be a very hands-on, direct way of telling a visual story that also has so much potential for transformation, complexity, and playfulness. First, I want to go over some of the simplest tools you will use. 1. An object or several objects to make shadows with. This may be paper cutouts or found objects. For a paper cutout like this, I traced the outline of the silhouette from an image on my laptop screen like a light box. 2. A light source. A flashlight with a single bright LED or a smartphone light works very well. Test your light source to make sure you see a crisp and clean shadow and even lighting. As you move the object further and closer to the light, the shadow should keep a very crisp edge. 3. A surface to cast a shadow on. This could be on to a plain wall, or you can make a simple projection screen with a cardboard box and a piece of paper like I made here. What I love about working with shadows is that you can work with paper, tape, found objects like plants or objects from the kitchen to create shapes in shadow. It might look like a hodgepodge of materials on one side, but on the other side of the screen, the visual composition become unified in black and white silhouettes. They could keep their meaning but also take on new meaning as glass jars become skyscrapers, potted plants become forests, and paper cutouts become characters. One of my favorite things to play with is moving the light source and how that can create reveals of images or create movement. You can layer lights and shadows from 2 different angles to create a double exposure effect. You could play with mirrors and water, crystals, pieces of saran wrap, or using motors and toys to create movement. I love that when you're working with shadow, the experimentation is always hands-on. You often don't know what effect you might get until you try it, and that these visual effects play out both in the realm of physics and human perception. I hope some of what I introduced here might be a jumping off point for your own exploration in storytelling with shadow.